Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem HaKodash. Give honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, walk with him, learning, teaching, and truth and sincerity. All right, this is going to be another video through the Spirit. You know, came across this conversation with Joe Rogan and whoever the fuck this guy is, Bill Maher. You know, basically, one of the topics, because you still have a lot of Jake who can't comprehend the fact that before America was established, all right, it was a very common thing to get women while they're young, all right? Now here at Great Millstone, we do not condone any underage activities. We do not condone any molestations or R-wordings or none of that. But what when you read through the scriptures, have been explaining to you idiots is the fact that it was and is a very, especially in other countries, a very common custom to get girls in a very at least at a younger age than what is customary now, all right? Not 18 years old, all right? We're going to go on I'm going to let this play. You know, apparently some very famous people, they was getting married at 14 years old, you know? So what do you got to say about that? All right, so let's let it play.
Wow. You know, back then, I don't think they got you for it, but...
What was the legal age back then?
Possibly none.
Right, they probably didn't have a law.
I don't know if they even had such a concept. I mean, we're talking about an era before women. They weren't letting women vote in the teens. Women didn't vote till 1920. I don't know if there were child labor laws. I just don't know.
Well, Priscilla Presley, wasn't she like 14 when
Correct.
Elvis? Yeah.
And that was
Elvis was a child molester too, and that was the 50s, right?
Right, and he went into the army in 50.
So why you see that buzzword? See, now the guys are gonna go on to explain. Elvis was 25. He's a world famous rock star, and he met a 14-year-old girl and went about the process of marrying her. And I'm gonna let this play, but notice what Joe Rogan called him: a child M-word, and that's some heavy words, and that's not even that long ago, y'all. We're talking about 1950s, but you people have been so Americanized and so brainwashed, you know, and especially you Israelites. A lot of you is American Israelites. You're not Hebrew Israelites, you're American Israelites. All right, the same niggas with t-shirt garments, you know, you still are using fluoridated toothpaste like a dummy, you know. Still simple as all get out. So let's let this play.
So that's when he met her in Germany. Her father was a colonel, and she was 14. And of course, he was 25 and a giant rock star. Christ. And he says to the colonel, "Would you mind if I took your 14-year-old daughter back to America? She can live with me at Graceland, and it'll all be good." And the guy says, "Enjoy."
What the fuck was wrong with people back then?
So right there, and you know, here it is. You know, Joe Rogan, he's supposed to be a big, tough badass, and it sounds like a big bitch, you know. But right there, Elvis Presley was 25, and the woman, because she was a woman, a young woman, her father said, yeah, you can take her, marry her, and go live, all right? Why? Because that's how it has been since day one. So you Israelites who can't accept that fact, you need to get that American cotton jam out of your ears, all right? You need to get that American butt plug out your fucking ass. All right, that's what's wrong with you. You know, then you go to this title says people used to be. If you finish watching this video, they're basically just talking about how people were rougher long ago. You know, how things were a lot different. How everyone has gotten a lot softer, and how we've gotten used to this new form of living, which many Israelites suffer from today. All right, I'm just gonna get some scriptures. You know, not necessarily dealing with the whole R-word thing, but just dealing with the fact that people used to be tougher and would stomach harder things. All right, hey, I say, hey, my grandmother had my father at 14. My grandfather was 18, and you know, I don't have no. Hey, it is what it is. My grandfather was 18. My grandmother was 14. All right, and when she had my dad, you know, so we're all very near each other in age. You know, it was a very normal and customary thing, and that's just dealing back in the 70s and 80s, you know, whatever year my dad was born, I fucking forget. All right, so this is not a long time ago, but you American Israelites, you've forgotten where you've come from. What you've done is this: Jeremiah 10:2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. All right, dealing with the upper part of the verse, learn not the way of the heathen. Y'all have learned the way of the heathen. This man has told you to wait until you 35, 36, until your thing don't get up how it used to, and until her box dusty and dry, to try to settle down and have a family, rather than find yourself a wife in the youth of your age, and while her body is still able to readily reproduce, all right, and while you're still young, and to begin to establish your family, all right, because you would have already started establishing a name for yourself and a reputation at around 12, all right, instead of waiting until you're 18 and you're damn near 1/5 through your life cycle. Y'all have, many of our people have drunken down the way of the heathen. Let's get another scripture. Hey, what do the scriptures say? Right here, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. What's the flower of thine age? Basically, okay, because a man doesn't, when you go into that word in the Hebrew, flower, basically it's dealing with the period. It's dealing with virginity, but a man doesn't have a menstrual cycle, but it's another term for your virginity, for your youthfulness, all right? Your innocency, the difference between an adult and a child. It says, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed. Trust in the goodness of thy stock. So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent. What is this talking about? It's talking about getting you a woman, all right? A fruitful possession. What do the scriptures equate a woman to? A possession. We'll get that. This is a parabolic speech. He's not talking about go find a field to hurry up and throw some seed in, all right? Which, but this is dealing with when you when you find you your wife, hurry up and put some babies in her, because this is what we used to do. It says, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. Hey, we didn't have no, at least among males, we wasn't having no infertility issues like how you see a whole lot in America today. We wasn't, Israelites wasn't having no erectile dysfunction, all right? The goodness of thy stock, all right? Everybody was putting it where it needed to be. All right, it says, so thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent. All right, knowing that you were going to leave children, Lord willing, that they would be righteous. All right, the good descent. All right, and to let you know, because when you go to the next verse, verse 22, it says, and harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. All right, so this is dealing with the woman, because if you go get a woman that is not good, all right, that is not upright, she might as well be a harlot. She's about as useful as spit on the ground, all right? Because it also tells you, let me get this, he that getteth the possession. This is not the little punk ass world you're used to growing up in. Sirach 36:24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. All right, so that woman is the possession that you put your seed into. And what do the scriptures say? As long as she is past the flower of her age, what were you allowed to do? You were allowed to lay down and consummate the marriage. It's not a big issue. Many of y'all have turned it into one.